Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be doing the 10 minute, 1 minute and 10-second challenge, and I'm going to be using just some basic supplies, some just cheap water-based markers and a mechanical pencil for the 10-minute one and a fine liner, because I don't want to dwell too much, because I thought if I use Copics then I would spend too long colouring and that wouldn't get me anywhere in this challenge. So let's get on with it. So I began with the 10-minute drawing because, you know, that's the one you start with naturally, and I set a timer on my iPad for 10 minutes, and I began by using a mechanical pencil to sketch out the design, because obviously this challenge gives you a bit more time, so I wanted to do it fairly well, although I had to work quickly at the same time. So I just sped up this process because I thought doing this in real time would be a little bit too slow. But yeah, I also decided that I would draw Charlie for this because I haven't done a Charlie video in a few videos, so I thought there was about time for one, and that's something I can do quite quickly. There's not too much detail because it's a children's character. And once I had done the pencil lines, I inked it with my Unipin 0.5 liner, and I was able to do this, you know, fairly reasonably because it wasn't too quick, although 10 minutes actually isn't as long as you think when you're creating art. So yeah, I used the fine liner, and you can see that I'm doing that now. I'm also not speaking whilst I am doing this. Obviously this is a voiceover recorded afterwards because I don't have a decent enough microphone with my camera, so I do have to do it separately. I know lots of people, when they do this, they talk as they do it. Another reason for that is because I film near the window and there's a busy road, so you'd be able to hear the cars going by if I did it live. But I do want to eventually invest in some better equipment so I can do voiceovers as they go, or live voiceovers, whatever the technical term is. But yeah, so I'm just inking away here, and that took about, as you can see on the timer, about 4 minutes to get to this stage. Able to do quite a decent job of the inking, and then I coloured it in with the cheap water-based markers which I used for the cheap art supply challenge a few weeks ago, and I'll leave a link to that in the end in case you missed that. But I did regret this actually, because even though I wanted to work quickly and I knew that using my alcohol-based markers, especially Copic markers, would make me work a lot slower because I wouldn't want to rush it and because I wouldn't want to waste the ink, but these ink pens are terrible. And it was okay for Charlie's fur doing the dots, but when I got to his dungarees and his t-shirt, it wasn't great, and it kind of ate up the paper as you would expect it to do. But yeah, it was okay. It did speed up the process and I was able to do an okay drawing of Charlie. I just wish that I'd coloured it with some better equipment. So I decided to do this challenge because I've seen lots of YouTubers do it and I thought it might be fun, and I think it was Mark Crilly that started it, but I'm not 100% sure, so do correct me if I'm wrong. And the idea behind this challenge really is, I think, to kind of get you to work faster, because sometimes when we're doing art we like to work slowly, and that's a good thing, you know, it's not a bad thing to take a lot of time on a drawing, and it's something that I'm not always good at doing because I do tend to rush things. But also doing faster challenges like this gets you to loosen up your line work, and that's also good as well to kind of practice, because sometimes if we work slowly, especially with sketches and line art, it can become quite stiff. And that's, I think, the aim of this challenge. So I did really enjoy it and I would recommend you try it. Maybe you could try it with your own original character like I've done with Charlie, or you can do a character from your favourite TV show, or I don't know, not a character at all, maybe a plant or your favourite animal. I don't know, the world is your lobster. So I didn't really have any trouble finishing this drawing in 10 minutes. I quite like how it turned out. I think it looks okay, but I think the dungarees and his yellow t-shirt could do with maybe a little bit of shading, and the balloons could have been bigger and higher. They were a little bit squashed, but this was due to the constraints of the paper. I should have maybe thought that out a little bit more, but again, you only have 10 minutes, so you have to kind of work fast. So if you're new here, welcome. My name is Katie. I make art videos. I upload a new video every Thursday. I do a mixture of speed paints and fun challenges like this, and I like to create art from many different things, not always expensive supplies like Copic markers, for example. So yeah, if you're new here, please feel free to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. So do let me know in the comments below if you've tried this challenge yourself. How did you find it? Did you like the result? And let me know how you think I did as well, because I always like to read your comments. Also, let me know in the comments below whether you'd like me to try any other challenges. Maybe you've seen a challenge that you think I'll enjoy, or an art supply which you think I might like. Do let me know about them, because I do honestly enjoy reading your comments, and I do try to respond to each and every single one of them, because I think this is turning into quite a nice little art community now, and I do want to make content that you guys enjoy. So I really would value your feedback on what content you would like me to make. So we're just coming to the end of the 10-minute drawing, as you can see by the timer, and now I'm going to repeat the same drawing in 1 minute and then 10 seconds. So now we're moving on to the 1 minute challenge. I reset a timer on my iPad again for obviously a minute, and I just used the Unipen liner for this. I didn't bother sketching because I knew I wouldn't have time. I wanted to make sure I got all of Charlie in, and I think it turned out okay. His face looks a little bit squashed. I went a little bit too fast on the face because I misjudged it a little bit, but you know, I had to move on, didn't have any time to correct it. I think he looks alright. He looks like Charlie, although it's a bit rushed, but I do quite like it because he looks a little bit looser, a little less stiff maybe. But the balloons on the other hand look even worse than they do in the first one. They look very deflated, and if that was real, Charlie would fall down to the ground, and that's not good at all. But never mind, I think it worked out well. It turned out better than I expected. I even had time to do the dots on him. It was quite difficult actually to keep an eye on both the timer and the drawing. You sort of have to have one eye on both because you really need to budget your time in this one, the 1 minute one in particular, because it's long enough to draw something but not too long. You can't dwell on certain things, you can't spend too long on one part, you have to just push yourself to go through it and get it done. So now that we've finished the 1 minute challenge, we're going to move on to the dreaded 10-second challenge. So at the beginning of the 10-second challenge, it took me quite a long time to realise that my iPad didn't time anything less than a minute. So here you're watching me just scrolling through, trying to find it, and it took me quite a long time to actually realise this, a lot longer than I'm proud of anyway. So what I did is I ended up just timing a minute and watching it go down in 10 seconds. So once I finally managed to set the timer, I just went in with the ink pen and did the best I could with it. This is just 10-second scribble. All I managed to do was his face and a little bit of his dungarees. 10 seconds is hardly any time at all, but I think it looks like Charlie's face at least. So here are the final drawings. We have 10 minutes going to 1 minute, then going to 10 seconds, and I think they turned out okay. Could have been a lot worse, I think. So if you like this video, you know, emotionally, do leave it a like, as that really helps me out. And that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next Thursday. Bye for now.